morning, students. Again we will continue skeleton system. In the previous video we had seen two groups of human skeleton. First one was axial skeleton and second is appendicular skeleton. In axial skeleton we have studied and we have tried to give the number of bones that are there in different places, and if you have counted, there are 80 bones in the axial skeleton. Now coming to appendicular skeleton, which involves limbs, our hands and legs, our hands and feet, they are involved in appendicular skeleton. Let's see first one, our hand. We have two hands, so each one is double here. All right, number 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1. That means one number is added 2 times because we have two hands. Let's see, hands, upper limbs. Humerus, the first bone that we have in the hand here is a long bone. Yes, it's a long bone. We have one humerus, 1 plus 1. That means 2 humerus. Then coming to the below elbow we have 2 bones over here. Okay, 2 bones, one towards the thumb and one towards the small finger. So 2 of them are there. The one which is towards the thumb is called radius. So one bone we have here, you can feel it is radius. The other side we have is ulna. So 2 hands, 1 plus 1, 2 radii and 2 ulna, 2 radius and 2 ulnas. All right. Now coming to the wrist over here, there are so many bones here. In each wrist we have 8 bones, very small. They are so arranged nicely. We are able to twist the wrist because of this wrist bones. They are technically called as carpals. All right, so carpals are wrist bones. 8 plus 8, 16 wrist bones are there. Then coming to the next region of the palm. Here, palm, we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bones. They are called metacarpals. Before we reach the fingers, they are metacarpals. 5 plus 5, 10 of them. Then we come to the phalanges, the fingers. If you count 1, they are folded like 2 folds are there, 3 folds are there. That means 3 bones in the first, this 4 fingers, and in the thumb we have only 2. That means how many? 14 plus 14. 3 fours are 12 plus 2 in the thumb. 14 plus 14, 28 finger bones. They are called phalanges. So total in the bones in the upper limb is 60 bones when we add them all. Now coming to the legs, the hind limbs, they are called as hind limbs. The thigh bone is called femur. We have 2 thighs, so 1 plus 1, 2. Then tibia, just like radius and ulna we have here. Below the knee, below the femur thigh bone, we have the lower part of the leg. We have 2 bones, tibia towards the inner side. All right, towards the inner side we have tibia, 2 legs, 1 plus 1, 2. Then fibula, the bone which is towards outside, is called fibula, 1 plus 1, 2. Then we come to just like wrist bones here, we have ankle bones. They are called as tarsals. They are ankle bones. There we don't have 8 of them, but 7 plus 7, 14 tarsals are there. Just like metacarpals we have metatarsals here in the legs, feet. They are 5 plus 5, 10. Then just like fingers, there also we have phalanges. There we have 14 plus 14, 28. In addition, we have 2 knees, and these knees are covered by kneecaps. 2 of them, 1 plus 1, 2 kneecaps we have. So they are technically called patella. So we have 2 kneecaps, and total number of bones in the hind limbs comes to 60. Now we come to the third one, girdles. We have shoulder here. We have not counted these bones that are present in the shoulder. In the pectoral girdle is the shoulder. We have two bones here, scapula backside, a flat bone here, triangular in shape, just like this, triangular. So two shoulder, we have this side and right, left and right, two scapula, 1 plus 1. Then clavicle, we have here, you can touch here, collarbone. This is one collarbone here, one more here, left and right. We have collarbone, which is called clavicle, 1 plus 1, 2. Coming to the lower part, here pelvic girdle we have, where the humerus and the femur is the thigh bone, which is connected to the bone here at the hip region. This is called pelvic girdle. And pelvic girdle we have two of them, 1 plus 1. In the pelvic girdle, there is a cavity. There is a, say for example, this is a pelvic girdle. There is a cavity. Here, the femur, that bone is connected to that cavity. That is acetibulum. That cavity is called acetibulum. In the shoulder, where our humerus is connected, that is called the glenoid cavity. Alright, this humerus is connected to the shoulder bone, the pectoral girdle. That cavity is called glenoid cavity. Whereas in the pelvic girdle, where the femur, the thigh bone is connected to the pelvic girdle, is called acetibulum. So now when we count all the number of bones, 80 plus 60 plus 60 plus here 6, it comes to 206 bones. That means in human body we have total number of bones is equal to 206 bones. 206 bones. Next part of the skeleton system where we will study is joints. Joints. All the 206 bones, they are interconnected somewhere. They are connected with each other. Alright? So here humerus is connected with tibia and fibula. Femur, which is thigh bone, is connected with tibia and fibula. Humerus with radius and ulna. And all these phalanges and carpals, they are all connected and they form a joint. What is joint? A point where two bones meet. A point where two bones meet is called a joint. There on the basis of movability, there are three kinds of joints. First one is immovable joints. Immovable. These joints do not move. They don't allow any movement. For example, the skull, the cranium. Cranium is made up of 8 bones, and they are so connected. Their connections, these joints are called sutures. Sutures. What are these called? Sutures. S-U-I-T-U-R-E-S. These connections are called sutures. They are connected like this. So they don't allow any movement in the skull. The skull bones do not move, the joints. The second one is partially movable joints. They allow little movement. These joints allow little movement. For example, we have joints between ribs. If we try to move the ribs like this, they will not move. These joints allow only little bit, and that is partially movable joints. Joints between ribs and the vertebrae. Backbone has 26 bones. They are connected with each other. They form joints. They allow only little movement. We freely cannot move them. Now, third one is freely movable joints. Freely movable joints. Freely movable joints. In the hands and legs here, see, freely movable joints. These freely movable joints are categorized into 4 types. Hinge joint. Hinge, you have seen door opens only one side. The other side, if you want to open, it will not open because it is locked from the other side. So hinge joint, for example, in the elbow, we have the example given here, elbow. This will move only one direction. If you try to move the other side direction, there is lock mechanism. It locks it. It does not allow movement to the other side. So this type of joints are called hinge joints. Second one is pivot joint. Pivot. For example, if we make a small hole in a ball and put this rod-like structure here and we rotate the ball, it will rotate like that. So we have the skull here, and the opening of the skull behind we have studied as what? Foramen magnum. That foramen magnum is the hole from where the atlas of the backbone is fixed like this. And so we are able to rotate our skull like this. This is called as pivot joint between skull and the backbone. The fourth one is gliding joints. Now, gliding joint is also called as sliding joint, because in the wrists and the ankles, when we move like this, they glide upon each other. So this joint allows a gliding movement. So that is what we have: gliding joints, wrist bones and the ankle bones. The fourth one is ball and socket joint. In the pelvic, the girdle that we have studied, pelvic girdle here. Alright, pelvic girdle where the femur is connected, a ball and socket. This is the socket and this is the ball. The one end of the femur. What is femur? The thigh bone is connected in a socket like this of the hip. And so it moves like this, ball and socket joint. So also we have here in the shoulder, the humerus is connected with the shoulder bone here, where there is a cavity, glenoid cavity we studied. It is connected there in a socket and it allows movement. So this is ball and socket joint between shoulder and humerus, hip and femur. There is one more kind of special kind of joint called as synovial joints. Synovial refers to synovial fluid. Knee joint particularly, where the femur and radius and tibia and fibula are connected, the knee. There we have a cavity. In that cavity we have synovial fluid. This synovial fluid allows the free movement of this joint. When synovial fluid becomes less, there is pain that is caused in the knee. People suffer from not being able to bend the knees, not being able to run properly and bend the knee. So synovial joint, that is called as synovial joint. These are different kinds of joints. And what is the work of the joints? They allow certain movement. They keep 206 bones intact with each other. Next part of the body that is involved in movement and locomotion is muscles. Muscles are tissues that have the ability to contract and relax. And so muscles are connected even with the bones. When these muscles contract and relax, they bring about movement of the joints. So we have different kinds of muscles. We have already studied before also. Voluntary muscles which are under our control, just like this elbow, we can move our forearm and the legs. They bring about voluntary movement, voluntary muscles. Involuntary muscles which are inside, for example, heart, the breathing, movement of the muscles of esophagus while swallowing the food, and they are involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscles are muscles which are present in the walls of the heart. They are special muscles which do not get tired easily in the heart there. Then coordinate muscles which coordinate with each other. They cooperate with each other while running and walking. So the muscles of the two legs, they coordinate. They cooperate with each other. That is why we are able to walk and run and do things. Now, coming to one more thing we have is the antagonistic muscles. Antagonistic muscles. Antagonistic muscles are muscles which work in opposite direction. If one is relaxing, the other is contracting. If one is contracting, the other is relaxing. For example, we have here the humerus. The upper side we have biceps. They are also called flexors. When these contract, we are able to move the forearm towards the body. Okay? When these are they are contracting. When at the same time, what is happening? These triceps are relaxing. They are extending. Now, when we move the forearm straight, the triceps they contract and biceps they relax, and that is how we are able to move. Even with the knee joint, that is how it happens. So antagonistic muscles which work in opposite direction. If one is contracting, the other is relaxing. If one is relaxing, the other is contracting. And that is how they coordinate and bring movement to the body parts. And joints work in a lever form. In physics you learn fulcrum, load and effort. That is the mechanism in the joints when they allow movement. Fulcrum is here, load is here, effort is here. This is how they work, that mechanism of leverage.